Hey, welcome to Training at 45. I'm Mike. I've just come in from training outside in the cold and the rain and everything else. I've just tucked into a succulent steak for my tea, enjoying a bit of wine and getting stuck into my battered version of The Keys to Progress. I think this is a great book. I'm going to start doing some book reviews now on the channel, and I think this has to be definitely amongst those books. So, Key to Progress then. I haven't seen many video reviews of this book, hence the drive to put this out there. John McCallum, very respected writer in the lifting community. So he wrote for the Strength and Health magazine. John McCallum, both literally and figuratively, shaped an entire generation of would-be muscle men. His original articles have become classics and inspired many of today's top muscle writers. To this day, many feel that these articles establish the highest standard in the field. Yeah. And this book is a collection of articles that were written between June 1965 and November 1972. So why do I think this book's so special? I think it's the style of writing. Each article focuses on a topic and a principle, and it's delivered in a very storytelling fashion. My mother-in-law was over for dinner the night before last. We had roast chicken. He closed his eyes in pain. The toughest, most miserable old bird you ever encountered. Sometimes chicken's like that, George told him. Not the chicken, the Gimona said. The mother-in-law. He put his hand to his forehead. What a beast. He opened the notebook again. Anyway, he said, tonight you'll be doing your shoulders, lower back and arms. You use the same system you used last night. Tire out the muscle first, and then work on a basic exercise till you can't budge the weight. So often the section will play out as a dialogue between reoccurring characters, such as his Uncle Harry, who's 57 years old but has got more stamina than probably most 20-year-olds. Ollie, his friend, Marvin, who's his daughter's boyfriend, who winds him up to no end. And the old gym owner, who I think is an alter ego of John himself. This series is going to take you step by step to the best and most advanced methods of training. You'll end up the finished product, but you got to want it, and you got to concentrate on it. Don't let anyone kid you that muscle comes easy. It doesn't. You got to have strong mental drive to get what you're after, muscles or anything else. If you expect to build like Grimek, then you've got to want it, and you've got to want it bad. You've got to want it so bad you can taste it. There aren't any magic potions, and there isn't any wonder system. You'll reach your goals one way and one way only. That's by intelligent, planned physical effort backed by an intense and consuming desire. So he implies his knowledge with a humorous twist and a story, but at the same time validates everything that he's saying and his methods. So recollects times where he's seen people like Reg Park training and John Grimek, Doug Hepburn, etc., and famous Olympic lifters at the time. So it's a tour de force of programs that are supported by other topics such as concentration and sleep and specialization and diet and desire and even self-hypnosis. The book really fires you up. Motivation, the gym owner said. Something to force you on. The more you want a Herculean body, the better your chances of getting one. You've got to want bulk and power so badly you can taste it. It's got to be a driving need for you. You've got to want it so badly you actually look forward to working yourself into the gym floor. And bulking up is a big theme in the book. And in fact, pretty much most of the sections seem to emphasise that. Although there are other sections on trimming down and much more elaborate training styles. You'd be surprised at how much better you could do if you put your mind to it. You could accomplish wonders. I took the wife to a hypnotist show once. The posters outside showed the hypnotist as a tall, handsome man in a cape with lightning shooting out of his eyes. We got there early and I went backstage to talk to him. Turned out to be about 5 feet nothing with a nose like he was eating a banana. His dressing room was dirty and so was he, and they both reeked of gin and mothballs. I asked him about self-hypnosis as a strength factor. He looked me up and down like I'd come out the woodwork. Do you think, he said, that I discuss my powers with every fool who wanders in here? Dunno, I said, do you? He reared back and opened his eyes wide. We're waiting for lightning to shoot out. You have a colossal nerve, young man, he shouted. Get out of here before I call the police. Went back out front and found the wife. She leaned over and whispered, What's he like? Nice, I said. Real nice. Reminds me a lot of your mother. Squats and breathing squats are a very heavy emphasis in this, and also hip belt squats. He's a big fan of those, and that's something that I've now adopted in my training. All the muscle you'll ever gain and all the strength you'll ever build depends on how hard you work on this one set of squats. How much weight should I use? Oddie asked. You pick a weight you can do 10 reps with, the gym owner said, and then you do 20 reps with it. Oddie stared at him. You're putting me on. No way, the gym owner said. Each rep from 10 should feel like the end, which you use your mind. You grit your teeth and blank out everything else. And you take the reps one by one until you've done all 20. Then, the gym owner said, when you finish, do one set of light pullovers to stretch your rib cage. The 20 reps with about 20 pounds. Okay, he said, get in there and dig. And I just love his regular phrases such as, make up your mind right now, you're going to work harder than you've ever had before. And things like that just gets you going. Stay on this program for 2 months. Make up your mind right now that you're going to be using heavy weights at the end of it. 2 months from now, you'll be heavier and a lot stronger. You'll have the necessary power to go on to the next advance in the series. So there's some classic chapters on measurements where you can calculate your natural potential based on wrist measurements. And it's very interesting really when you see what those real measurements actually are versus stuff that you just read in magazines where it's totally overinflated. And there's other articles such as The Fountain of Youth and the Get Big Drink, which are just fantastic. So the Get Big Drink's a big concoction of about 3,200 calories that's intended to be consumed in addition to a whole raft of meals throughout the day. So to round it up, should you get this book? Yes, it totally stands on its own. It's something else. Let's be reasonable about it. Anyone who works for a living and spends 3 hours a day working out is making a social outcast of himself. Keep that up, and the next sound you hear will be your old lady cackling as she runs off with the milkman. You can gain all the weight you want and still lead a normal life. I think it stands up to modern training for the most part, although you've got to question the safety maybe of some of the exercises that are being promoted within it, especially high rep breathing squats that can be very, very taxing, and if the form breaks down on those, you might be headed for Snap City. And things like behind the neck presses, if you can do them, that's great, but some people just haven't got the mobility for things like that, upright rows, etc. But it's all in there, and you can still take his advice and perhaps supplement different exercises, and certainly my current program is based on one of the first chapters in the book, and it's serving me really well 3 months down the line. It's great. Desire, said the gym owner. That's the one and only secret of success. He leaned forward in his chair. The burning desire to build your body into what it can be. If you've got that desire, you can improve on any program. If you haven't got it, you'll bog down no matter what you do. So I love the wit and the humour, and you just get totally immersed in reading the book, and it'll take you a long time to read it. The text is very, very small. If you're not going to concentrate on your training, you may as well forget it. Weight training requires the ultimate in concentration for eventual success. If you're going to lift weights, then make up your mind right now that you're going to think about them while you lift it. But yep, it just keeps going and going, and there's a lot packed into it. And I think if you followed it to the letter, it would keep you going for years. Good health, in the sense I'm talking about, means something much better. It means an abundance of energy during your waking hours and deep, untroubled sleep at night. It means a complete absence of all disease, including minor colds and headaches. It means teeth like concrete blocks and never seeing the inside of a hospital, except to visit sick friends. It means nerves like a wooden Indian and the digestion of a sword swallower. It means, in short, a very desirable state of being. You can acquire this type of health if you plan for it, eat for it, and train for it. I think towards the later stages of the book, there are some mention around supplements that keep coming back and back again. So I think the editors maybe of the magazine were trying to peddle a bit of that stuff. But still, if you read between the lines, it's got what it takes. Nothing can replace natural health building food. You won't gain properly without it, and you might as well accept the fact. You see, I said it takes a lot of groceries to build muscle, but you can only stuff so much in your stomach. Unless you've got a gut like an elephant, your food intake has a limit. If you load up with loads of junk, you're wasting stomach space that could be used to further your muscle building progress. Every time you step up to a plate full of white flour biscuits and greasy fries, you're stepping away from your bodybuilding goal. So, Complete Keys to Progress, definitely recommended. This copy's been everywhere. It's covered in all sorts of guns, but I love it. Just read and read and read it. Fantastic book. So, that's me signing off. Catch you soon.